confusion about that comes from that. But anyways, in the bottom right side, our red Protoss player is going to be Team Liquid's Clem. It's a Liquid matchup because obviously in the upper left side, the other four-lettered Terran player from Liquid that begins with a C is going to be Cure. Let me find a observer to stalk, and we will get ourselves into Tidal Citadel for this opening game of the semi-finals in the upper bracket. Again, there is a lower bracket going on as well. We'll talk more about that when we get to it. Once we're kind of done with the upper bracket, we'll show you guys where things are. But of course, Bracket Command is available if you want to check it out. Loco with the raid. Hello, all you Locovians. Hope you're having a great day. Hope Loco didn't abuse you guys too much today. Hopefully you didn't play any StarCraft 2 ladder. I know what you're thinking. Why would that be abuse? But have you seen Loco play StarCraft 2? It's painful to watch. So I do feel bad when his chat has to see it. But otherwise, welcome. Thank you. Hope you guys are having a good time. What's up, Mickey Verix coming in with 1,000 bits. I swear down, every time Loco raids me, somebody literally puts bits in the channel. It's like a good look. Like Loco raids, and suddenly someone's like bits, and like every time. I swear this is a thing. Thanks so much for the bits, Mickey, and thank you so much for the Prime sub, Crappe, for the 4 months. Appreciate it. Isn't Loco GM? I mean, I too can Photoshop a gold border onto the screen where I needed to show gold. You know? Yeah. People believe anything in this day and age. Unbelievable. You seen this guy's YouTube thumbnails? He's a master of Photoshop. You think he can't change his freaking StarCraft 2 border color? Unbelievable. You guys think this guy's an amateur, and that's why he's so good at it. He gets away with everything. I know, crazy. Alrighty, guys. Factory coming up, Tech Lab coming through. We do have our Adept is shitting around a little bit as we take a couple of moments. And we have ourselves Nexus and the Twilight Council coming on through. And yeah, we just take a couple of moments to see what's going on. The Adept Chrono Boost out, and the Command Center coming up. Warp Gate on the way. Clem and Q just getting settled. If you guys are just joining us, this is the Monday Night Weeklies. I don't usually stream this. Usually Roddy, Steadfast, Zombie Grip all stream this. They're all in Vegas. Yeah, like the same. Me and Loco, we were not the cool kids invited to come along to the the StarCraft school trip to Vegas. So, Loco's been streaming. Here I am casting this one. Is there no one else casting this in English today? It's so wild because, like I said, usually I don't cast this because the Monday evening tournaments they are absolutely covered in other streams, so that's usually just not worth casting it. But, yeah, kind of wild that there's just no one else around, so... Such a weird, kind of thing. But yeah, happy to fill in when everyone else is slacking off doing other things and actually taking a break and stuff and having some fun. So yeah, welcome. And we are in the semi-finals of the upper bracket. Clem and Q, Heroes in the other semi-final, probably will play against MaxPax unless there's an upset there. I believe MaxPax currently playing against Solar, so that is what's going on. As we have a couple of Adepts and the Stalker gathering up for the moment. Pro pulling back, Robo Facility coming through, and Clem's build looking pretty standard as Q plays 1-1-1 into pretty fast extra couple of barracks. Getting himself set nicely into the bio establishment in the near future, so getting that on the way. The Cyclone and a few Marines inside, gonna come down toward that bottom right, getting themselves active. And yo, Valkasha 76 on the 3-month resub on the Prime as well. Thank you so very much. Also, clicking that Prime button and helping us run more StarCraft 2. Super appreciate you. Thank you so much. Medevac gets in, but is instantly deflected by unit positioning, so Kua does not get very far along on that one. The Stimpack building by from Kua, the Liberator and a few Marines still building on by. And we get ourselves a couple of gateways coming up from Clem. The Observer halfway done, Nexus about to complete. And Marines in the Cyclone unloading in that corner, hitting that pylon for a couple of moments. Stalkers get a few shots off onto the Medevac. Again, Combat Shield and Stim both build a Marine Marauder Medevac all on the way through. Our Stalkers are heading to the upper left-hand side as they set up out the front of the Natural Expansion Charge on the way. 2 more Stalkers building up. Forge producing, battery building. Let's see what Clem can do in terms of applying some pressure, but he has that third Nexus, so he's not in need of doing a lot of damage or anything. Just, hey, you've got the Stalkers, you may as well put them in a position to try and get something done. A couple probes going down the other side. It's Mr. Liberator who shows up and gets some kills. 2-3 workers going down immediately, and that will be it, as the Stalker Warpins will handle it fairly quickly. Bit of lost mining time. Clem deals with it pretty aptly overall, I'd say. 5 worker lead still for Clem at this point in time, as the bunker will go down, and the bio continues to chase. Clem playing Toss now for fun. Clem has played Protoss exclusively in versus Terra matchups for about a year. This is not just for fun, this is his... He did this in eSports World Cup. He does this against everyone. He does not play PvT, so... This is Clem's versus Terran race of choice, and yeah, it's been going very well for him. He is probably one of the top 3 PvTers in the world. He's extremely good with this. There's a +1 combat shield and the concussive shells all coming through, so getting a lot of upgrades online here on the side of Cure are going to help him in the near future, so we get that all up and running. And yeah, I mean, Cure keeping Clem honest here and there. A few workers going down, 7 in total this game. Now starting to push at the front and trying to make use of some of these upgrades we've just gotten onto the field that we can, you know, maybe take better advantage of at this stage. So Marauder's going to hit, the Stalker's taking some shots. We can drop a force field or 2 in return. Marines going down, Marauder's taking damage, and we are going to continue to chase. A couple of Zealots taking shots as well. +1 upgrade still coming by. And yeah, we see Clem continue to chase the army of Cure away up to the top for the moment. Marauder going to get chased down. The rest of the bio coming across. The Stalkers have to blink the other direction for a few moments. And again, a couple of Widow Mines in the barracks all coming online, getting all of that up and running. Marine Marauder Medevac +1 on the attack upgrade building for now. So again, just getting everything going that we can. I mean, Cure's army looking pretty hefty. Lots of bio involved. I'm gonna first of all lose that observer to the scan, but secondly is heading into that robo base. So opting toward the Colossus. PvT recently has been much more of a choice between do we build Colossus or do we build Storm. It has not just been that, hey, we're definitely going to build Storm because that's super good. We've seen pros players really rotate between them and really kind of mix in each build into their builds and into their series. So yeah, and the overall kind of aspect, I would say it's been pretty fun to see the pros players mixing up their strategies and actually, like I say, doing different things. You know, it's not such a one-dimensional kind of choice of what you do as what it was for the last couple of months. That said, Cure's going to just go diving into this main base, and Clem did not see a lot of this, so Clem has a lot of units across the other side of the map, and that's going to force SCVs to be pulled, but he's got a full army to deal with over here. He's going to say Cure actually has to start unloading these units. Medevacs will get chased. Okay, that's fine. That's enough units, and Clem should absolutely not still be fighting this. Like, Zealots going down and letting you kind of, you know, do some damage to the Stalkers is fine. I don't think we should be sticking around. We kill 17 SCVs on the other side. Colossus about to show up. Can Clem really stabilize so well against this? I can't believe he's still fighting here. It feels like Cure's not really dealing damage to anything. Mortal and the Colossus again in reach now, starting to do a lot of work. And we really are just on the tail end of these units from Cure, and that's going to be a shutdown and a pushback, and honestly, I honestly don't know how he didn't do more there as Cure. I don't know how he didn't kill more stuff. Felt like that should have been more impactful. He's going to jump out over here now. Maybe lack of units could be an issue for Clem. Mobility around these bases and rotations around these bases could be a problem as Cure jumps onto that low ground, hits this location. And Clem, obviously up a lot of workers, means he is down in army supply currently. Should just let this fourth base go down, because let's be realistic, he did a lot of damage on the other side of the map, and he knows that. So there's no need for him to maintain a fourth advantage right now. What's important is staying alive, and obviously trying to keep the fourth alive could be an issue. He pulls back nicely with those Colossus, keeping them safe. Do we not have a battery? No battery on the... Okay, there's a couple batteries on the map. I'm just thinking about how we could get these units healed up so we can keep fighting soon. But for now, Clem does push Cure away, equalizes the army supply with the economic lead that Clem maintains in terms of work count. Maybe that's just enough. Chasing right now, the bio unit's back into the center. We see, oh no, the lift on the medevac is not going to be punished. The empty medevac went down. The other two get away. I felt like that happened in slow motion. I was waiting for the next Stalker volley to come through, and it just wasn't enough in the end. Took a little while for those Stalkers to fire that first shot off as well, I suppose. The Zealot Stalker Colossus is going to be moving up, and we have ourselves the Marauders just going to dive the Colossus. Clem getting very, very aggressive with these units. I agreed with him chasing at first. I think this might be a bit too far forward to be on the map with just how low the Colossus are specifically. You know, if these were full HP Colossus, they have a little bit more kind of wiggle room on the micro, then I don't mind him being here. But yeah, I think he kind of pushed the button a little bit too hard there and kind of invited Kira into a chance to turn this around and to play cleanup and to switch this one up. 5 SCVs will fall. We have the Marine Marauder still coming over. Prism and a couple more sentries coming out as well. Bio being pre-split, Clem is very well known for being aggressive in these scenarios, and Kira is expecting Clem to advance forward. Clem's going to come from the far left-hand side, taking a little while to swing around there, but might be, I think, setting up the Prism to come in from the right side during this. Going to blink back away from that first mine, but we actually unburrow the mine. Good micro from Kira to begin with there. There's now the rest of that Bio trying to step forward a little bit. Ghost Academy coming up. The Viking Marine Marauder still building. Prism loads a few units up. The Colossus and the Thermal Lance coming around. Prism getting ready to make a play in toward the main over these next few moments. Just going to get straight onto that. Those rocks going to start taking some shots. And yeah, a couple of Vikings still coming through. The Zealot going to get grabbed over on that right side. Watchtower going to be taken for a few moments. The armor upgrade building. And again, a couple of Zealots getting straight in after some SCVs, trying to get some damage done. Engineering Bay and Armory both coming up. A couple of Zealots will go. They're going to get rid of a Marauder. The extra Zealots going to get up to the top side. The Vikings going to go in after the Prism. It's 3 SCVs going down. Still the rest of the army still trying to push up at the front. Bit of Bio going to be there. The Colossus getting chased the other way. Vikings going to get rid of one of those Colossus. The Stalker's trying to get underneath. The back and forth so far, it's pretty decent. 5 more Stalkers in production. Extended Thermal Lance on the way out. Gateway and the Nexus continuing through. Yeah, I mean, Kira's going to be able to push Clem away, and he's going to keep himself alive here. Clem a few Zealots into the main base. Still pushing at the front. The Zealots in the main need a bit more time to hit, I think, and actually distract Kira. Then he could probably push in at the front more comfortably. Clem following the Colossus up with the Disruptors. It's just going to be having the Disruptors coming about. The next Colossus starting up. +3 attack upgrade on the way. The Zealots in the main got a handful of SCVs. Kira pulled back heavily. That's what I mean. I feel like if we actually dealt with those... if we let the Zealots go in first, then we push at the front, maybe Clem could have actually had some success against the split army of the Terran player, but that opportunity never really came around in the end. And you drop the scan in to see what's going on. A couple of Ghosts, Vikings, Marines coming through also. +2 attack upgrade building from Kira. Dark Shrine also going to be added on next as the little bit of Bio there. Just gets rid of a Zealot. Yeah, a couple Ghosts, a couple Vikings coming through. 2 upgrades coming about. The Prism is going to be right there as well. It's going to be setting up with the few Zealots for now. And Ghost just moves through with those couple of upgrades. 2-2 on the way out. On the side of Q here, Zealot, Stalker, Colossus all gathering together, certainly in the center of the map. +3 attack, Disruptors in production, +2 armor on the way out as well here currently. Bringing a lot of this into place. Stalkers come up, one SCV goes down, that SR turret will be halted in production for a little bit. We still got ourselves the Vikings, the ship weapons all coming through. And a bit more army still from Clem stepping towards that upper left side, still looking to try and pressure in. In a fun game 1. This is about 15 minutes in now of this opening game, and definitely competitive. Some crazier moves early, leveled out, and Clem maxed out now. Kira maxing out soon. Especially with Ghosts on the way, you definitely kind of like it a little bit for Kira, because Ghosts have been pretty darn good lately. It's definitely causing the Protoss players to complain a little bit. Oh no, they didn't beat everything again. You know, it's been a while since they've cried, but Protoss cries have been heard recently about them Ghosts. And so you have the hallucination coming around that top side. What can the Ghosts do right here? And it's going to be a Disruptor shot in. Sense Tower taking a little hit. Stalkers get to the front. The Bio will be... No Stalkers back. Disruptor shot to try and zone. It is interesting because obviously the Ghost did get, you know, that 25 HP buff. Obviously they got made into light units. So the idea was that the light change initially made them worse versus Colossus. And then you give them the 25 HP back so that Colossus still killed them in the same number of shots. The problem with giving them the +25 HP is that obviously Disruptors don't one-shot them anymore, and because of EMP and the high template radius, storm radius and range change Ghosts are going to be a little bit easier to use in this matchup than before, so the Protoss complaints about them are somewhat justified. Like, it is going to be more difficult. The question we really have to ask is, are they making it impossible to kind of play against? Such a fine line with those units, as those disruptors actually do pretty well initially. That one goes off as well. A lot of connections in, but Clem took a lot of damage at first, and he lost a lot of army supply to begin with, so he can't really turn around and kind of capitalize on the good disruptors. The good disruptors more so just save him on the back of what was otherwise pretty much a failed fight. The Vikings get rid of the Colossus quickly. Now it's just Zealot Stalker. I don't think we can fight this much bio with just Zealot Stalker. 2 new disruptors on the way, and I do fear that Clem is going to end up in a scenario here where he's basically Zealot Stalker disruptoring. It's a very scary comp to play with, as Kira is just going to finally establish his 4th base. Might be a target for Clem with the Shadow Stride DTs. That Shadow Stride just completed, and that harassment of Dark Templar is one of the things he can really lean upon here to give him a chance and an opportunity to still play this kind of composition of Zealot Stalker Disruptor, because the DTs can force you to split around and have to go and deal with a lot of things. The Zealot Stalker Disruptor can then capitalize on the Terran splits, can capitalize on the Terran defenses, and so on and so forth. More Vikings coming up in production, a couple of Ghosts on the way, the Marauder, 2 ship weapons, 3-3, there's the DTs. Let's get again for the missile turret, and the wooden one initially obviously goes can EMP though, and the one thing with the DTs, they're super expensive, so you don't want to give them up too easily, because the last thing you want is to just lose out on your Dark Templar and just have that expense on your mind. You want these DTs to switch positions, dive in, get damage done, dive out, try and preserve those Dark Templar. Again, they are not cheap, and if you're going to see success in this kind of game setup, you need to get those DTs to be efficient, and efficiency means keeping them alive. So it's not really it for Clem though, as they are going to be chased, and that does maybe open the door for the disruptors on the right side to jump onto that right side base, and that's exactly what they're doing. Curious, are you going to turn around? No, he's going to keep on chasing. This base just disappears then, so he just keeps on chasing. He's in kill mode. Clem has 40 supply, or 30 supply less than his opponent. He needs to play defense, but he actually doesn't have a lot of his defensive units left over. He has 1 disruptor. That's really not enough. Second one building. He might never get out. A lot of these units are hurting. That disruptor shot actually could have been better. Clem could have changed the direction of it towards the end. I will say a lot of these Terran units are kind of low HP coming into the fight, but man, there's just so many of them. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough that Clem can really fight against this. Pulls the disruptors into the corner, going to fire again. Going to get a few units in the front. Extra Zealots coming in from the other side as well. From that right side, Clem looking for the defense. Army supplies have evened out a little bit. Now the DTs are going to rejoin this battle as Clem needs everything he can to get damage done. He's going to force the lift, and the retreating Kira backs away. Kira does not even kill that base in the end. He's going to see this gold base that Clem has up during this as well on his retreat. And Kira is now a 3-base Terran player, playing against a Clem who is all of a sudden defending that main army push that Kira was putting pretty much all of his marbles onto, right? He was basically saying, yes, these units can push, shove, and do so much because I have a really, really sizable army advantage at this stage. Crazy business. The DTs continue to pull away. Zealot, Stalker, Sentry. Coming back around the left side. Guardian Shield will pop. It's going to be seeing the Zealots charging through. The Stalker's going to have to take a step back instead. Bio still charging down that left-hand side. Going to get a jump onto this Nexus here. Going to start to work our way through this and knock that down. So the Nexus will be taken out. Zealots, Colossus, and the Stalkers still being brought into play. Zealots going to go counter-attack. I mean, losing the gold base is whatever. Clem is still a 6-base Protoss without that location. So he can survive without that, much more so than Q could survive without his 4th. And that 4th, by the way, that's been replaced is the natural expansion relocated. So it's an orbital. In some ways, that's cool because it means that you can just lift up the orbital against DT harass. But if you lose that orbital, that's going to be a lot of your scans, or kind of just baseline scans so that you rely on. And they're going to kind of go back the other way. TT just swiping, Ghost taking some damage, and EMP gets a bit cleaned up on the Dark Templar for the moment. Again, Nexus and a couple of simulators building through. There's Zealot Stalker. He's just going to push straight forward here. DTs are going to chase. Biomedevac gathering up. And I mean, it just looks like the kind of fight Clem's going to win because all of a sudden Q has no Vikings available, so the Colossus do a lot. Clem will step back. Not a lot of Zealots in the front right now. Q trying to split and take a better fight as he chases. Both players are 3-3 upgraded, so upgrades are not a factor here. DTs is going to find a chance to jump onto a couple bio units, kill a couple, blink away. Just trying to preserve themselves, and again, I don't mind it though. I love the swipe to reveal themselves and then blink. Gets a scan out, and now going to come in again. As Kyo's just going to say GG. Apparently no scan, ready to kind of drop onto those Dark Templar. They're just getting kills. And that's going to be GG. Kyo ran out of money in the end. Losing that 4th base was pretty sure I was on TKL. I mean, Indy's here now, though. You guys prefer TKL over Indy? I think you guys are mad. It is going to be Clem top left-hand corner, though. Maybe we should play Guess the Protoss. Guess the Protoss. Guess the Observer as Kyo is Terran in the bottom side. Ghost OP. Thank you for paying the points for the balance wine. Appreciate it. Yeah, TKL's good too. There's a bunch of people who are just good observers, honestly. I honestly think you guys would be shocked if you saw me observe. I don't think any of you guys would guess it was me observing if I observed something that I didn't have to cast or produce at the same time. Using the channel points properly. Yeah, you love to see it. So yeah, Mothership, this 3-player map that actually does not have a lot of the negatives that a lot of the 3-player maps usually have. Because of its size and the way it's laid out, it actually doesn't have a lot of that rotational advantage. So I actually think this is a 3-player map that is going to make the map pool. And obviously Last Fantasy did, but that was just a mistake. No one wanted to play Last Fantasy. I actually think this map will get played if it became a ladder map. I genuinely do. Because, yeah, believe it or not, the majority of the time, 3-player maps are not being played is nothing to do with people just being like, we're 3-player map. It's actually more so just the map layout being very advantageous or disadvantageous based on the RNG of the spawn, so. Has anyone seen a Storm game so far? No, we haven't seen any Storm today, but honestly, I'd say Storm is still being played like 50-50-ish with Colossus builds. Kind of depends on the Protoss play, and kind of depends on the map, I think, a bit. And maybe even depends on the opponent a bit too, so maybe 50-50 is not true. Maybe more 60-40 towards Colossus, but Storm has still been a pretty big factor in terms of what we see in the world of PvT recently. Is there air blockers on the dead space? Yes, this is dead space. So it's just yeah, the top right is not advantageous. I actually think that's becoming my biggest complaint about this map is obviously the air blockers are needed to make it work. But I hate air blockers that block off what is naturally clickable places on the mini-map. I always feel as though we see so many players derp out with it. And I'm like, well, maybe the players should just get good, right? But I understand their pain. It feels like you can click there. Your natural tendency is to be able to click those locations, right? Let's have ourselves the blink on the way up. The robot facility coming through. As Clem going to take a very similar opening to the last time to the last game for the moment. You see Kyo coming online with the tank, the Marines, the medevac, the barracks is on the way through as well. Gateway comes online at the front, the robot facility halfway done, and that Stalker just going to ramble about for the moment. Couple them together. Not really anything to move across the map for or against just yet. Kyo is on the map with a handful of Marines. He leaves the Cyclone back for now though, so... Was the Cyclone? Yeah, Cyclone's already over here. Apologies. So Cyclone already kind of chilling at the front. And that's going to then join up with these Marines, and we'll try and see if we can poke around for a little bit of damage, looking to drop in toward the main base. Marines and the Cyclone pop out, a few probes get pulled away, a couple Stalkers, and step over the right-hand side and chase after the medevac. Yeah, good volley off on it because we went back for a unit there, not the crispest of escape micro on the side of Kua. But good defense from Clem. Obviously, that's pre-blink, so it's always scary. If you're out of position, you will take damage there. But now that blink is completed, you have a little bit more leeway to be out of position. Those Stalkers with the blink, I was going to say they were kind of headed towards striking the medevac and kind of catching it on its way home. Doesn't happen, but yeah, that would have been a little bit disastrous just to lose the medevac when it's so necessary. Maybe still will. Medevac boosts forward, but straight into the Stalkers. And the Stalkers intercept the medevac. And that is indeed the medevac then going down. That doesn't mean we're kind of lacking units to defend here right now. It does mean that Clem doesn't have to leave any Stalkers at home anymore, though. And obviously, it is still going to be, you know, one less medevac for any future push and so on. Like this blinking as well. You got 2 SCVs. Blink out without losing anything as well. Lovely little play from Clem, just finding a good corner to blink in and get something done with. Can't really do much at the front because the double tank siege is going to be very powerful and very difficult to get, you know, truly jump on or anything. I think Clem's fine, you know, fine with this right now. He got rid of that medevac, got rid of those few units. Hard to say he's really anything but, you know, content with where this position leaves him at thus far. Again, up 1 in this BO3. And not a bad start for this game number 2, looking to make it to this Monday night weekly final. Still, excuse me, sorry. Marine's still building. I started talking too quietly, didn't pick up on the mic. Yeah, it's been a lengthy day for me, to be fair, so voice is apparently given out, even though we've not really casted much yet. As the Marine tank is going to move up, we are going to see that Observer is looking to play a getaway, just about escapes. Combat Shield will be building on the side of Cure. The charge from Templar Archives coming up and online from Clem as well. The Stalkers do take a moment to take their blinks backward and just get themselves out of trouble. IO still shoving their way up toward those Stalkers, so again, absolutely looking to get a little bit feisty, looking to get involved as we know that this is coming. The SCVs are pulled, Clem sees it coming as well, gets some Stalkers around the back. We will see Siege Tank 4, though, is already joined up with the main portion of the army, so that's 4 tanks that can siege the main base, or towards the main base. Obviously, the Natural is where they'll siege first. That's kind of a big deal. 4 tanks is difficult to break down if they're in position. Clem can try and hold this ram force fields. That's his to charge up, get rid of a few SCVs, kind of just freebies so far. The more SCVs we get rid of right now without anything else kind of, you know, fighting at the same time, the better, because then the SCVs are not doing much tanking. Stalkers around the backside kind of walk in, but they get blasted by the tanks, because like I say, 4 tanks are going to be very powerful here. I love the Archons, though, the Immortals as well. These are the things that do that do sit as the tech units that can truly come into this and deal with this, I would say. So, expecting that to be a sizable factor. The Immortals still coming up, Gateway still coming through. Stalkers still wanting to get in after a couple of those Marines. The Medevac doing some healing overhead. 6 more Marines and the Siege Tank still coming up as the Marines are going to continue to step by for the moment. Looking to get in toward this upper left and into this Natural. Tanks will siege. And they're going to trap a few SCVs and Marines in. Clem just says, you know what, come towards me a little bit. Yeah, probably get rid of some of those bunkers. Let's see how soon he wants to go. Sending some Zealots around. Looks like he's just going to go for it right now. If he can get enough of these Immortals in range of those tanks, that would be massive. I don't love that the tanks are so close together, because if the Immortals get on top of some of the tanks, they're going to be on top of all of the tanks. He loses a lot of army, but he does maintain a mortal count, so the replaceable units such as the Zealots and so can be brought back up. We're actually just chasing forward with the Marines right now, as he just says, Cure, that there's not enough splash damage for Clem to really defend against the Marines stepping up, and he may not be wrong. The Immortals obviously tanking, but it doesn't matter if the Marines are just doing enough. Having to pull further back, given the tank's position onto the Natural now. Your Robo facility is down there too. We warp in 3 High Templar, so maybe an Archon or 2 in the near future to try and help us with another wave of this, but we've got 26 to 46 army supply. It is not looking pretty at the moment. Extra gates coming online, the Archons coming through. A lot of that setting up for the moment. Let's just see the Marines going after the Nexus. Here we go for one last bust through from Clem. If this one doesn't save you, then you really are in trouble. That Mortal is struggling to get on top of the tank. Obviously no Prism Micro or anything, so that Mortal is kind of doomed as well. The Archons are going to struggle to fight Marines because of the range issue, and I think Hero has done what he needs to take this series to 1-1, tied up in the BO3. Fire turns again. I mean, like I say, he already lost the Natural here as Clem. Is there a defense? He's half the army supply. Like I say, the problem with Archons is they're just such unreliable defensive units. If they start fighting, then Q's going to stim back and just pull away, and the Archons will forever be chasing. They'll never truly fight. And I think that is going to be the big issue in the end, is Clem will kind of get Q to turn away for a little bit, so Clem gets a little bit of time looking for value with these Stalkers. Obviously lost the Natural, still has the third, still has the worker advantage, 49 to 28. I'm shocked that Kira is turning around as heavily as he has done. I mean, Clem's going to even begin Storm, so he's going to give himself a chance to play into Storm here. I don't know why Kira's falling back. I don't know if he just feels as though he's done enough. I mean... Okay, Clem loses a bunch of units there. Not great. I was going to say... I was about to ask about Kira knowing about that third. I guess it just... 1-1. Throne of the Dunes, top right corner. Red Protoss player here from Team Liquid is Clem. It's been actually a pretty darn good semi-final as well. Back and forth. First game. Aggressive second game. Ties up the series. Bottom left-hand side, the blue Terran player is Kira. I always love jumping into someone's camera and they're just having a real moment to look around. The beauty of the map, you know, really taking the sides, taking this. It's Ryung as well. Ryung's like, Ryung is a full-on streamer now, man. He's like, he doesn't look at this map from the competitive point of view. He's like, hey, look at the decoration. Look how cool it is. Isn't that nice? Oh, funny. All right, onto the indie cam as we have Barracks coming up, getting the assimilator coming through. Taking the culture. Yeah, exactly. Taking the culture. Alright, Gateway finishing shortly. Barracks on the way up. Get this Game 3 set up very soon. Just going to see the SCV and the probe going to nibble at each other for a couple of moments. A little bit back and forth. This Reaper will now start up as well. This map's massive. Yeah, I think Throne of the Dunes is pretty big. I think it's one of the bigger maps from the TLMC, if I'm not mistaken. Next on the Sabacore, just coming through. Again, just gonna have the factory and the command center coming online. And just gonna be seeing the bunker coming up as well, so we get that going. Reaper coming by. Twilight Council building as well. Can the Zealot deny the expansion? Probably not. Reaper is onto it soon. There's already 2 Marines here. This looks like one of the safest defenses against the Zealot you'll see. So it really does just have to run back at this point as the Adept is trying to move forward as well. And yeah, Stalker and the Warp Gate still building into place. The Twilight Council's halfway done. And the Reaper just hops back into the bunker for the moment. After the barracks coming through, command center settling in. Just going to see the Hellion coming about, a couple of Adepts getting going as well. A couple of Adepts will come around. I'm just going to be seeing the Blink coming about, Robo Facility on the way. Well, obviously just a little bit of the Adept harass, but pretty well dealt with by Clem. Doesn't really leave much opening for Kira. And Blink coming about. Engage in the Robo coming up. Continue to settle down. Sitting in there, a couple of Devs trying to move through, a couple of Marines stepping over. Again, Robo Facility finishing very shortly. Blink is halfway. Siege Tank and Marines producing by as well. Seeing that Barracks and Command Center coming up. SCV still building just for the moment as we have ourselves the Blink Chrono on the Twilight Council going to be done very, very soon. And that will complete here on the Twilight Council, so we get that Blink completed. That will be a chance for them to get active. Now, Clem obviously is going to be up against that fast triple CC of Kira. So Kira is going to be hoping that Clem does not come with as much aggression. That said, the Prism is going to be out this game. We are going to be on the 3 gates, so we actually do have a chance to put some pressure on. We'll see how much Clem can find. See if we can get some damage done in these early stages as Kira looks to play defense initially. Shot coming on the line, the Stimpack Marines and the tank coming through. And to see those few Stalkers still settling in toward the bottom side. Ready to jump toward the main base. And yeah, Prism loading up a few of those and taking them straight into the main already. I'm straight onto this siege tank, by the way. So Clem very aggressive. It's going straight to the main. Only 4 Stalkers. The tank is not going to go down. Just doesn't quite have what he needs to get it there. But if he went to the main base with all the Stalkers, maybe there would have been some potential. But it's just the Adepts out the front. The rest of the Stalkers are actually back at home. So playing defense against something that's never arriving. Now Clem will bring a few more forward onto the map. He is taking that 3rd base as well eventually. So Clem gets himself well set for the next stage of this. So see a few Stalkers unloading. The older command in the corner. Can be taking some nibbles, but double tanks going to mean that Stalkers really can't stick around for much. The defense really is spot on by Kua. And Clem going to see, you know, knowing it's triple CC, he's gone double forge. He's going to get 1-1 upgrades on the way, so he's going to be playing a very high count of Zealot Stalker. He's going to have a lot of units, and again, with very good upgrades, might just be looking for that big swarmy kind of effectiveness. Especially if Kua tries to get to 3rd base, and there's just a swarm of Zealots jumping on you as you try and play defense on a 3rd base with tanks. Could be a huge opening for Clem to get a lot of damage done. So a very different scenario for Clem, where at this point in the previous games, the tech was on the way, or at least attempting to be on the way. This game, it's just pure gateway units, and the tech is really in the upgrades. And so it's quite old school kind of, yeah, it's pretty old school TVP, really, with this whole kind of double forge, fast upgrade style being something that dominated the meta for a very long time. It has not been anywhere near as common as of late. Stalkers get some good nips, and they force a little bit of a stim to come through just to push the Stalkers back. Exactly what you want to be doing already. Again, Clem does still have the Prism, which is going to threaten the main base. More importantly, you can use that Prism to come back over here. And I was going to say to actually just get straight into reinforcing that main army. But yeah, the warping over here is going to be big to begin with. Zealots are going to get rid of that siege tank. Not a lot of defense at all in the main base of QOs. We're going to go after the tech lab. That's just concussive shells, not the biggest of deals. What can the Stalkers do at the same time? Clem is looking to get around the other way. He's going to start unloading Zealots over here, but that's a lot of Marines. I actually think he's going to be unable to really find much of anything. Maybe on the natural there would have been the opening, but he did not find the chance to step forward to that natural for the moment. Two upgrades coming about, the Immortal and the Concussive Shells coming in. Let's see, a few more Zealots is going to warp straight in here as well. Still keeping the pressure up. Again, you can get a lot of warp-ins here as Clem, but he's playing a very low-tech army. It's all in the upgrades, so if he doesn't succeed with this army right now, I don't know if this is looking great for him because he's getting cleaned up in the main base. Kira's on the move across the map. He's kept a lot of his units collected together. I don't think Clem has enough to actually survive as Kira looks to get to the other side here. Observer goes down. I think Clem is in trouble. I think this is falling flat on its face right now. His attempt to be aggressive initially has been well fended off. A few Zealots warping in. I mean, we're right now just one armor upgrade ahead. 2 upgrades would be amazing. As we show with a few more Zealots, that's not going to do much. We got a quick cancel on a 4th that was barely beginning to build anyway. We're just going to fight here. It's a lot of Zealots. Can the armor upgrade make the difference as we take this fight in? Obviously, again, no Prism or anything as well, so not a massive warping on the other side to distract and to punish Kyo for moving across like this. That's why losing the Prism was kind of rough. And it's so many Zealots. He actually just runs those Zealots the other way, by the way, and is just going to let the main army be reinforced here in the end. Looking for a cancel on the 4th base. Cleans up a couple of those mines that he set up with the hallucinated probes a few moments before. Doing a good job here, Kyo, raising the depots, keeping these SCVs alive, and the Zealots end up being kind of, I don't want to say donated, but I mean, they did work. They forced this army to turn away. He actually recalls a chunk of them. I like that. Preserve some of those units. We do get a few units over here. A little bit late to that blink. That could have probably had the medevac if he'd gone for it immediately. He just saw it too late with other things going on. Yeah, Clem actually doing a good job, though, because it brings Kyo back home. He's cancelled the 4th base, right? So he's keeping Kyo from kind of advancing through into the next stage of the game for himself. I mean, that said, Ghosts are on the way. That's going to be huge. Clem is on his way to a Dark Shrine and 3/3 upgrades, but Ghosts are so good against this unit composition because it's so reliant on the Zealots and the tankiness of those Zealots. If you EMP through those Zealot shields, they are going to be way less effective, way sooner. They're just going to get ripped apart much more quickly, so there is a problem coming up for Clem. I love the upgrade still, but I do think he's the one that needs to make things happen right now here in this Game 3. The Stalkers get caught as well, so Q getting a good catch over there. It'll take down a bunch of those already. So it's trying to come down over this side. Q gonna get jumped on. Is Clem have enough to truly kind of take this fight? Here running all the way to that corner where he can obviously choke things up and get these Zealots messed up a little bit. I wonder if we've got enough Stalkers to really kind of punish these units, because obviously the Zealots can tank for a long time, but the Stalkers need to be the ones doing the damage if the Zealots are choked up. Extra Stalkers did show up in the end. We have a lot of these units low HP. I tell you what, these Medivacs are super low energy. Every stim right now of Q and having the stim consistently is really starting to hurt, and Clem's even going to start targeting down Medivacs as the Zealots take the attention of the Bio Army. Gets all the Medivacs there pretty much. A couple of new ones starting to arrive. One was super low HP that didn't quite go down, but the consensus is there is that we're playing denial on these Medivacs. As Q looks for a 4th base, Clem 5 bases behind it all, on his way to those 3/3 upgrades as we've mentioned already. And that will maintain the upgrade lead to allow him to keep taking fights like this. I'll try and peel around the left-hand side. Just a few Stalkers that get there in the end. Doesn't have a lot of the Zealots here right now, so maybe needs to wait. Actually has the Prism heading into the main. Maybe some DTs mixed amongst the bases. Could be a great way to be a distraction, to be annoying. Again, 3/3 upgrades coming about. DTs available soon right now. Just regular DTs as we are going to warp a couple more Zealots into the main base. A lot of Bio already running over here, so it's not going to be too easy of a cleanup. Or too difficult of a cleanup. There's still units that pull in over there, but I don't think Clem has found the chance to really jump on any other kind of portion of this in the meantime. That's a big choke point there. I wouldn't have minded the Stalkers and the Immortal taking a while to knock down that set of rocks and just to kind of use that as another way to run Zealots up. Now, Clem actually finds Kua kind of walking forward with a portion of this army, jumps in, gets a couple of the ghost kills, mistake by Kua, who is now down 20 workers in this game, is now down army supply in this game, and what even looked like a good start initially for Kua is now going, unfortunately, quite wrong quite quickly. Let's just have Command Center coming through here as well. Marine Marauder Ghost coming about, the Vikings on the way. Zealots will charge through, and a couple of SCVs are going to begin to go down. Never mind, looking to get in after those Zealots. A few more Zealots going down as well. Zealots just coming up. If we can get up that ramp and get a full surround, I mean, the Zealots on the right side as well, looking to threaten at the same time here currently. Marine Marauder Medivac still the production tab. A Starport, a new one on the way as well from Kua. Try and get extra Medivac production. Maybe because he's losing so many Medivacs, maybe because he's afraid of the Colossus switch as well. Wants to be able to spam up Vikings nice and quickly if necessary at any point of this. Could be a reasonable response. Wouldn't mind shot good onto a couple of Zealots, pushing them back the other way. Bio upgrade's going to come across. A couple of Zealots going down. Some moving and cruising. Extra gates on the way about. Nexus on the way through. It's Viking production still from Kua here. 3/3 upgrades on the way from Kua, man. If he could finally even out the upgrades in this game, that would be amazing. Has not been able to do that at all just yet, as a few extra Vikings and Ghosts still coming along. Clem's doing a great job of just mass expanding behind all of this, by the way. Just, you know, we've maybe not mentioned it or looked at it too much because there's been a lot happening on the Kua side of the map. Clem just has base after base after base, which means that he can just re-establish Zealots. He's going up to 21 gateways, so he can just rebuild units super quickly into these fights as required. And that's going to be absolutely huge for him, obviously, as the Vikings join with the Medivacs, pull back over that right side for the moment. Again, 3/3 coming through, add a +2 ship weapons in as well. The Zealots begin to charge up, Stalkers take some damage. I don't know how pretty of a fight this is going to be, but like I say, you're warping in 18 Zealots already. They are back at home, so the concern for Clem now is, how much do you lose retreating away? WardiTV is going to come in from the other side, just forces a scan. Yeah, Clem losing a lot retreating. I mean, his army supply is way down because he's again got mass workers. Warping a lot more stalkers. Can he find a fight and help him out? He's going to have 1 or 2 more fights before the upgrades even out at 3-3 apiece. And that's if they fight soon. Obviously, the 3-3 is sticking along for the Terran, so Q just doesn't go until 3-3 is ready. This is a moment where actually Clem is not counterattacking as well, so he's not going to have any pressure on the 4th base that Q begins to establish. It's been one of the things that scared Q away from kind of sticking around previously. A big Stalker blinking. Need them to start doing damage ASAP here while the Zealots are tanking. And again, this is one of the final fights there. The upgrade differential will be in play. After this, it's going to be fair game when it comes to upgrades. Remember, the problem for Q is he doesn't have the money to rebuild it all. He has no bank going into this fight. He got maxed out, and that was his goal, to then push and keep on pushing. But he has no bank, whereas Clem's already worked his way through thousands of resources rebuilding into this army. Can he keep it going? Resource lost about 6k, favor to Q, and needs to keep that efficiency up. Cancels part of that warp in. The Zealots are in front though, and these Stalkers are just doing so much damage behind it all as well. A Liberator or 2 show up. We can get rid of that very easily with a Stalker count still. And you can see Q is just going the wrong direction. Like, yes, you have to kite against these Zealots. You can't just give up on that super easily, obviously. But yeah, this is just not going the way you want it to. Stalkers get rid of the Liberators as they're coming into play. The Zealots in the front. Now we're talking down Medivacs as well. GG says Q. Clem will get it done with a 2-1 victory. The run of the Dunes going in his favor. And it is Clem to move into the finals to play